and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you
Qurrat.
Qurrat. I'm not going to pronounce his name.
You can call me Q if you want.
I call you Q?
Yeah, there you go.
I like that, yeah. There's actually an actress. Her name is something Q. She was on a TV show. What was her name? Not Susie Q.
I'm not sure.
Something Q.
I think that was her last name, but this is my first initial.
This is your first name. Just call you Q. Is that what other people call you?
They do.
Gotcha. I would think, yeah, because a lot of people...
I wrote a show about it. It's called They Call Me Q.
Is that right?
Yes.
You wrote a show. Interesting there. Anyway, you're here tonight. I know you're doing a one-woman show. It's going on currently as we speak. When did this show begin and when is it going to end?
Absolutely. It's called Intrusion.
Okay.
I wrote it. It's a solo play. I'm the actress in it. And I play 8 characters in 1 hour. It's currently off-Broadway at the St. Luke's Theater on 46th Street. It has a few more shows left until the end of September.
Okay, so people can still see this.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
They want to see it there.
Yes.
Okay, now just curious, how would they find out more about this here? You got a website or what do you got?
Tickets are on telecharge under Intrusion, or you can go to my website, which is intrusionshow.com.
Okay, now let me ask you about a one-woman show here.
Yes.
All right, these are characters from your life or just characters you created? I know, like John Leguizamo does his one-man shows, and it basically kind of sort of on his life, and he tells stories. You know, is that what this is based on your life, or no, just stories?
No,
you made
this
up?
is not. And I'm a big fan of John Leguizamo. My other show is sort of takes the style that he uses, which is direct address to the audience. But for this show, Intrusion, I wanted to play a variety of characters who were connected by a theme. Okay. So the theme for this show is sexual violence. So it's set 20 years in the future when rape has been eradicated.
So,
but one person comes forward. So we see how this affects 8 different people.
So not a comedy.
Not a comedy, but
Not
there are,
right,
but let me tell you, there are comedic moments.
Oh, really?
Yes, people actually laugh at certain sections, certain characters. There's one character that's an audience favorite, and everybody, it's like a sigh of relief. Everybody laughs throughout that entire character.
Okay, now this is a pretty heavy theme. This is a pretty heavy topic here. Did you research this, or how does
yes.
I mean, how does this, you know, how do you, I don't know, I don't want to get personal.
Yes.
It wasn't, you know, you researched it, right?
Yes, a show like this takes time.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that's pretty heavy. You're doing it on your own there.
Yes, I've been really impacted by the percentage of rapes and sexual violence that exists in the world today, much less America. The rates are so high, and especially among college students as well. So I wanted to write a play because I was fascinated about it. Why is this happening on a global level? Why do we as humans continue to let people get away with it, or, you know, don't try to find a way to stop it from happening? So I started researching the psychology behind it. So I have a psychologist character. Okay. I started looking at politics and how that plays a part in this conversation. I have a politician character. I have a reporter character to show you how the media you know, connects to the topic of sexual violence. I play a professor, I play a 9-year-old child,
really?
So that the audience can really start to see the psychological impact behind sexual violence, but also the social impact as well. And it's not just about rape, it's not just about sexual violence, it actually has a lot of ramifications for us, economically as well.
Wait, has the phone number been flashing up there too? We have a caller now. Yes, caller, who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Michelle from Brooklyn.
How are you? How you doing there?
Hi.
I'm doing well, doing well. I heard about the island play, and I do have a question.
Okay.
So my question is, you know, what's the most challenging part about bringing the script to life? Like, what's the most challenges that you guys had with bringing this whole script to life?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking. The biggest challenge for me is that it takes me a long time to write a solo play. So what I start to do, my process is that I research extensively and research about the topic, but I also read a lot of solo plays. I go to see a lot of plays, plays that I like, and also I find value in plays that I don't like, because then I can figure out what to avoid when I'm writing. And then I set out to create a very detailed and rich outline so that I know exactly where the characters need to go. I give each of my characters an activity, something to do, because nobody likes to watch somebody, you know, not active or doing something.
Okay.
And I give them a very clear objective. And in the acting world, that means, what does the character want, and why can't the character get it? Okay, so how important is this objective? And then I make sure that they're all addressing the event. And the event in this case is that after 20 years of no rape existing, somebody comes forward. So I start to then structure the monologues together. Now for me, writing a play takes time. So I wrote the play 3 years ago. I didn't really love it, but I showed it around to a few people who I trust. A few writers, actors, I had them read it, and they gave me their feedback after I asked very specific questions. That's a helpful tip as well. Don't just say, what did you think? Say, how did this character affect you? How did this character make you feel? And then, so last year, I rewrote 90% of it, because I wanted to make it more personal. I didn't love that draft. And I think when you're writing a show, you feel very connected to the characters and the text you've written on the page. You don't want to change anything. But it's really important to take the feedback that people you trust have given you and try to make the product as strong as possible, because that's what this is all about. It's art. You know, there are no rules. So you want to make sure that it touches you and that it's fulfilling your initial objective. You know, I changed the ending several times, because one of the main pieces in the play is a Jenga set. You know, the game Jenga?
Yes.
You pull out pieces, you put them to the top, and eventually the Jenga set falls. The end of the play has something to do with the Jenga set falling or not falling. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
But I worked on the ending. I tweaked the ending so many times because I couldn't figure out what was going to be best. And I would write it a certain way, and then I would go back and think about it or talk to somebody about it, what the ending signified.
Did you do any test runs, any audience, like test runs on any endings they preferred?
I did actually. You know, I've been touring it at colleges, which is what I love to do, perform it for the college students in the beginning of the year. And then over the summer, I performed at 3 different theater festivals across the country. And there I was able to really experiment and see what worked and what didn't work. So the last festival, I completely changed the ending. And the year, in the way that I performed the ending.
Right.
The festival before that, in July, I reworked the way I portrayed an entire character. So the lesson here is don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of trying something new. You know, it's currently off Broadway, and had a reviewer saying that the ending was predictable, and that bothered me. I thought, how dare she say that the ending's predictable? And so I made a change. I tweaked it, and now I think it's no longer predictable.
Okay. Hope that answered your question there. We have another call?
No, same call.
We have same call, okay.
Oh, another question?
Okay, no, that was great. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, just curious, just on a side note, I mean, it sounds like a very, I mean, maybe want to check out this play before
Please
the end of the
do.
run. I may check it out. How do you even get a one-woman show into a theater? How do you even get it produced? How does that work? Is there a whole process with that, or you got to do your own funding, or you got to get contributors? How does that work? I don't even know what that.
There is, you know, when I started performing the show in early January, and so I had a one-night fundraiser event, and all of my friends and supporters came out and kindly contributed to watching the show for the very first time, and that helped me with costs for going to a festival and a lot of the production costs. Then I started touring at colleges, so I started getting some income from that, and then the producer and owner of St. Luke's Theater, he had actually co-produced my previous solo play 4 years ago called They Call Me Q, which is what I had mentioned earlier.
Right.
And so he is a great supporter of mine, and he wanted to push the social justice issue forward. And so he agreed to come on again and, you know, help let me perform the show in his theater once again.
Okay, nice. Now they tell me you have pictures
I do.
for us to look at.
Yes.
Can we get
There's
some of those
video,
up there,
there's
and you
some
can
pictures.
tell me about what we're looking at here?
All right.
Okay, what are we looking at there?
These are just some scenes from my show off Broadway right now, so it's been really great. I added some, I have a projections designer, so there's some multimedia going on in the back. You see that Jenga set that I was talking about earlier.
Right, yeah.
And the theme is really about justice, fighting for injustice, fighting for justice, really speaking up if you see an injustice happening, and protesting. You know, the main character that I play is a college student who hears about this rape that's happened and then is moved to have a candlelight vigil and then moved to have a protest. But really the message is we can, quote unquote, protest in many different ways when we feel that there's an injustice. It doesn't mean necessarily going to a march. It can be small things, and that's what the message really here is. You know, take a look at how we perpetuate gender roles, or how we perpetuate sort of disrespect towards women, or you know, we have a bad habit as a global society of just not valuing women. And we see that permeating through in different sectors of our society, right? Women get paid less than men.
Right,
women get fewer opportunities in the entertainment world. Men definitely get more roles. There's more roles written for men than women. So we see these inequities play out in a lot of different sectors, and this becomes this larger problem. It's connected to the problem of sexual violence in our country.
Gotcha. Okay. You're just curious, a little side note, your Jenga stuff ever fall down in the middle of the show?
You know something, in a festival that I did in August, it did, and I was playing a character, and it was so funny because I went to lunch with a friend, and he said, asked me the same question, and I said, it's never happened, and lo and behold, I was playing a character, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the monologue, half of it fell, and I thought, what do I do now? But I was still talking, so I couldn't ignore it. I kept looking at the pieces throughout the whole rest of the show. But it worked. Nobody could tell that wasn't
Well, see,
planned.
that's the thing, yeah, they never saw it before.
Right, they didn't understand. They were like, oh, maybe this was supposed to happen.
Yeah, sure, just curious how that works there. Okay, kind of
But normally
yeah.
it does not.
Right, it sounds like a real interesting play, really a heavy topic and all that. I think there's something I do want to check it out here. Maybe me and some of the guys will go check it out. Could that be, guys?
You all should come.
They don't answer me.
And you know, the
Anyway.
play is really hopeful at the end too.
Right.
It's not supposed to be very negative. I just address the issue from an intellectual standpoint so that we can start to have honest discussions about sexual violence and really give people who are survivors of that, who are victims, a voice to feel that they should speak up. We should encourage that. We should motivate people to speak up so that, as we see in current events right now, there's so many allegations, so many people we're finding out are sexual predators. Let's bring them all out into the open, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think I should check it out now before it goes to the main stage on Broadway itself, maybe.
Well, you
right?
know.
Probably a little
That's
cheaper
the
now
dream,
if it
right?
goes over there. So check out. Okay, anything else you want to tell us about, or
No,
else
that's,
come on?
you know, I'm excited to continue performing it at colleges during the tour.
Okay.
And they seem to really love it. And, you know, they're the ones the college students who can really make true change happen.
Right, and once again, this is going on until September
27th.
27th. Guys, you can check it out. It's until September 27th. The title of it is Intrusion.